The streets are buzzing. The champs have been busy bringing back some of the band, and Andre Drummond is a New York Knick now. Let's talk about it. Knick streets. How we feeling? Happy 4th to everyone out here. Saturday night, let's talk about our New York Knicks. Reigning, defending, world champions. Andre Drummond coming in now. Coming home. Gonna give you my thoughts on that, man. And the off-season so far, man. It was important to bring in a replacement ASAP. But the work ain't done yet. Because Leon Rose is still looking to bring in another big man. We've got spots still available. 2 more vets. Maybe one of the rookies can get signed as well. We'll break down the numbers and some. We'll shout you guys out. CT on the solo with Andre Drummond, the main story in this one. And there's plenty of layers to talk about because the New York Knicks tried to trade for a big man. We got reports coming out that they tried to get Yves Missy, but the Pelicans, man, tried to take advantage of the situation. Also tonight, reports come out that the New York Knicks tried to get and trade for Moussa Diabate for the Charlotte Hornets. They tried to take advantage of the situation. So what did Leon Rose do, man? He pivoted and brings in a big man that can rebound, pop the 3 ball with vet experience, a big body to patrol the paint. Andre Drummond, 32, about to turn 33 years old. But we'll talk about that and what it means moving forward. Are the Knicks going to bring back Jordan Clarkson? I think so. I think there's a lot of smoke around there, reporting from around the Knicks beat, mutual interest. Jonas Valanciunas as well. We'll talk about the connections with him and Leon Rose and some interest overseas as well. So looks like he's going to get cut by the Denver Nuggets by next Wednesday if they can't work out a trade, because $8 million out of his $10 million is non-guaranteed. We've got some big news as well on Knicks rookie Jack Kayil. People talking like he wasn't going to come to Summer League because he wasn't listed on the squad. But a brand new story has come out of Germany that explains why, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Kayil still working on a clearance from his main club in Serbia, and that is set to get resolved within the coming days. And the expectation is that Jack Kayil is going to be on the Summer League squad once that letter of clearance can be finalized with Mega, his main club. He was on loan in Germany, but his main club is the Serbian club Mega. So we might be seeing Jack Kayil next weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Next Friday, next Saturday, the New York Knicks Summer League squad kicks off on a back-to-back. But let's shout some people out. Let's talk about the latest news with Andre Drummond coming in. What does he bring? What is he not going to bring? Mixed feelings around this one. But all in all, there was a sense of relief, I guess, when I saw the news, because he's experienced. He brings solid rebounding, well, elite rebounding. And I still think has a little bit to give. I think he, as a backup third string, we'll talk about the next option. But it's a vet's minimum deal. And my mantra is, man, I never sweat over a vet's minimum deal. I think there was worse options out there as well. It's by no means the best option, but I don't think it's the worst option, man. I think it's probably a better option than Kevon Looney, a better option than obviously DeAndre Ayton, which ain't saying much, but it's a better option, I think, also than Nick Richards, because Drummond can give you some offense, some passing, 35% from 3, as we'll talk about, man. Chris Gotti is in the building, says salute champs, right? Man, it never gets old, fam. Hearing that, shouting out the champs, right? Everyone enjoying their vacay, their summer right now, man. This is the summer of champs. And I'm feeling good about this off-season so far, man. I'm going to give it an A. so far, and that's pretty much leaving aside the Drummond move to bring back Diawara so quickly, to get Landry Shamet back on a 4-year, $24 million deal. And we've since seen, ladies and gentlemen, how good of a deal that is going to work out to be, man. Landry's only 29. Our bench is fortified for years to come. I'm hyped about the Diawara pickup. But Jose, to keep him home for 3 more seasons as well at the same cap number, 4.5. I mean, that's crazy good business from Leon Rose, man. We'll bring up the roster in a minute. How are you guys feeling about the offseason so far? Given the Dolan shenanigans and all the things that, all the parameters we have to work within. And of course, we're going to talk about losing the Block Ness, Mitchell Robinson, and we turn the page because I do think the chapter is sort of closing with the Knicks breaking the 53-year drought and some of the Knicks set to leave. I don't think we're going to have every single player back. Probably Sohan might not come back. Maybe Dardier gets traded. Maybe Deuce McBride. Clarkson is a favorite to come back. But Mitchell Robinson, of course, Ariel Hukporty have left the building. And what does that mean, right? Right now we're at, where are we at confirmation numbers wise? We're at 12. We're at 12 roster spots, ladies and gentlemen. And we have room for 2 more vets minimum, at least, and change, right? So what the Knicks can do is they can bring back Clarkson. They can bring in 1 more vets minimum guy, which is going to be a big man. All the talk surrounding this situation is it's going to be another big man. Could be via trade. Jonas Valanciunas, we'll talk about his situation in a minute. But it could be Sohan. I doubt it. Right now, I think it's going to be a big man and a Clarkson. 2 vets minimum signings. That will give the New York Knicks a little bit of change left over for a rookie, not for another full vets minimum. But the Knicks can still get to 15 if they don't make any trades a couple of weeks into the season. The numbers are going to be super close. But if they add Clarkson and they add another big man on the vets minimum, that takes them right up until about $1 million below the second apron. And the rookie exception is around 1.3. So depending on the first year number of Landry Shamet and Jose Alvarado, they could get one of these rookies on the roster at 1.3 million. If not by the start of the season, by a couple of weeks into the season as well, which would be an ideal situation for me personally. But who knows what Leon Rose has got cooking, man. He might be thinking of trading Dardier. He might be looking to secure another promising big man like he has been talking to New Orleans. Got rejected for Yves Missy, but we don't know how much Leon was willing to give up in that situation. Reports, the Pelicans, they don't really want to move on from Yves Missy, so I get it. There's no point keep beating that drum if they ain't willing to play ball. The Moussa Diabate situation, with Charlotte, there's Kalkbrenner as well. They've got Nasri now in the building. That could be a more likely scenario where the Knicks could keep pressing, keep applying that pressure to maybe get Kalkbrenner or Moussa Diabate. But reports suggest that Diabate is, on the no touch for Charlotte. So it's going to be difficult, right? Then there's Jonas Valanciunas, who is set to get waived, but there's also a report that he's agreed a contract to go back to his home country in Lithuania and play for the Zalgiris club for some pretty good money as well. He was going to do that prior to landing with the Denver Nuggets. There's a strong connection between him and Leon Rose, who used to be his agent, and there's a lot of mutual respect. So that's why we're seeing a lot of reports around Jonas Valanciunas potentially being that third big man, and I would like that move. I think we've got to state the obvious, and I think the Knicks are going to lose and feel the absence of defense left by Mitchell Robinson and Ariel Hukporti. But where they're going is in a different direction, because Andre Drummond is a big body that'll still eat up the paint and gobble up, inhale rebounds, but he's not going to be able to move and switch on defense to the level of a Mitchell Robinson or an Ariel Hukporti, and neither will a Jonas Valanciunas. But what Drummond and Valanciunas are going to provide is offense to the likes that Mitchell Robinson and Ariel Hukporti can't provide. So we're talking about some 5-out spacing. We're talking about Mike Brown's new souped up offense with Chris Gent pulling the strings. And I think with a full training camp as well, the New York Knicks offense, man, you ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet, because I think our offense is going to be even more special, right? Andre Drummond shooting 35% from the corner three, right, is really solid. Really solid. The Knicks ain't have that. If Jonas Valanciunas comes in, you're talking about a hub at the top of the key. He can play make, he can rebound, he can shoot, and he can post up as well. He'd probably be the Knicks' second best offensive center in many years. Second to Cat. Right. Is he the Valanciunas that he used to be? Absolutely not. But if the Knicks could land him on the minimum, like I said, our defense takes a step back, but our offense would go to another level. And I've seen a lot of people talk about this, but it's all about team defense, right? Mitchell Robinson ain't saved the Knicks by himself. He ain't the only player playing defense. It's a team concept. And I like where the Knicks are going, man. You guys let me know how you're feeling. I think it's an A off-season so far, because I think it was so critical to keep Landry Shamet first and foremost, Jose Alvarado, and to get Mo Diawara back as well. And the Knicks have got options, man. We could add 2 more vets and one of these rookies if we don't make a trade. Salute to Pete, Danny in the building, New York Janky. How about Kalkbrenner? And Danny also agrees, man. Kalkbrenner looks nice. Yeah, if you're Leon, you got to just keep applying that pressure. You know, who knows? The Knicks have 11 second-round picks to work with, and I think either it be now or by the trade deadline, I think we're going to be sweet with the big man situation, right? You know, like I said, I never sweat a vet's minimum guy. I think if he fits the system, Mike Brown is going to expand our offense with another training camp. And look at Drummond, so comfortable popping the 3 ball. He shoots the free throw situation better than Mitchell Robinson. But like I said, I'm not under any illusions that our defense with the center position is going to slide a bit. But I don't think Drummond is as bad as some people have suggested. As a vet minimum guy, I think we could have done worse, fam. He's played 63 games last season, so he's more durable. He's going to give you more minutes than Mitchell Robinson and some more offense. I wasn't high on the Looney situation. He's undersized as well. He can't really move his feet too well. Suffered a lot of injuries as well, too. So the corner 3 ball definitely is something that is going to be nice to see as well, with the extra spacing with this situation. Now, just tweeted out by NBA New York Twitter account, we got Drummond, hot off the signing, man, interviewed. We'll pull up that audio in a minute, fam. But here are some highlights of his recent performances with Philadelphia. You see him on the block, can give you some post up. He's got a little hook as well. And look, defensively, he can still block shots. You see here, as a help defender there, sealing off the baseline, sets great screens. And I think his quote coming out after the signing was big, because, you know, this is a guy who grew up a Knicks fan, back home in the area. Another guy back home. You're talking about Jose Alvarado, Karl Anthony Towns and now Andre Drummond coming back home, a special situation. He understands what the expectation is, right? And you transform him to a better defensive team from Philadelphia to the reigning NBA champions, the New York Knicks. I think he is going to be a solid addition. What do they say, man? That you don't teach size. How are you feeling about the Valanciunas talk? Danny says Valanciunas is tough. Yeah, I think you would add another layer to our squad. Like I said, defense is going to take a step back. So, look, in a perfect world, we could get a guy like a Diabate, but I'm going to bring that report up that the New York Knicks have already tried. Ricardo says Mount Vernon, yes, sir, coming back home. Happy 4th to everyone out here. G Money, great to see you. Drummond was shooting 60% from the free throw recently, so that is a big upgrade from Mitchell Robinson's 40% as well. Anthony Freeman says, you're going to be good, just get more bench scoring. Great comment. I like it. New York Janky says, we would have never thought that Cat would play D as well as he did. I got faith that Drummond can raise his defense. Yeah, I agree. Accountability. What do they say about this Knicks locker room, fam? Everyone gets held accountable. What did Mike Brown make everybody do before training camp? He made everyone sign a accountability contract. Right? How good was that? Accountability contract, ladies and gentlemen. Right? What happened with Yabusele when he wasn't cutting it? His minutes were cut. What happened when Clarkson went through a slump? His minutes got cut and had to step it up and respectfully got his spot back. So I like what Mike Brown is doing in terms of accountability. And that's why Leon Rose is going to bring in another big man for competition. Right. I think one of the reasons we ultimately, the organization was high on Huck Porty for where we selected him and what he gave. But I think we were always looking to bring in a more reliable vet that you can run with in the playoffs, in the finals, right? Now we were blessed. We were blessed with the health. Casey Smith and the health team, the trainers did an amazing job keeping everybody healthy. But we all know, man, Game 5 and many other games, Karl Anthony Towns was bedeviled by bad officiating, some ill discipline, foul calls, foul trouble. And like I said, he was healthy though. But what's not to say that, we're going to need some more guys to be experienced vets and stepping up in the big moment. So all the talk is that Leon Rose is going to bring in a third big man. What do you guys think about Jeremy Sohan? Would you guys be open to Jeremy Sohan taking up one of these final vet spots? Or would you give it to Clarkson and another guy? Right? Would you give it to Clarkson and another guy? You guys let me know. Right? But the spacing of Andre Drummond is going to be key for our offense. Right? Building blocks says hell no to JV. Right? Give us your suggestions. What would you like to see the New York Knicks do? At the top of the show, I did say that Leon Rose's first option was to try to trade for Yves Missy. They tried to take advantage of the situation, the Pelicans, right? Leon Rose wasn't having that. Then he tried to talk to the Charlotte Hornets about Moussa Diabate. They said hell no. So the options are limited right now. Do the New York Knicks just kick the can down the road and wait for the trade deadline? Wait for somebody to get injured, wait for another team to get more desperate. We all know that Deuce McBride's contract. This could be the final year of Deuce McBride as a New York Knick. Because what do they say? If the Knicks can't extend you, they'll trade you. So this is where we sit, ladies and gentlemen. I think Deuce McBride would be a hot commodity on the trade market, but I don't think the New York Knicks are ready to put him into talks just yet. I do think Deuce McBride is still pivotal to the regular season. I know he had a down playoffs, NBA Finals, but one thing I'm banking on is Deuce to come back strong because this is a contract year. And what do they say about players in a contract year, man? He's going to be highly motivated to ball out, is Deuce McBride, man. One thing I never question about Deuce McBride is his work ethic, his heart, his tenacity. And he's been playing for 4 years on a team-friendly contract. He's ready to graduate from that right now. So my tip to everyone out here, man, if you're down on Deuce McBride, reconsider. I would buy Deuce McBride stock in this season. Don't forget, he had the hernia. He had the core surgery mid-season. I think that played a part. You know, he only had a month to come back and get up to speed before the NBA playoffs. And once the playoffs hit, it's tough. If you ain't up to speed when the playoffs hit, it's tough to get up to speed. And I do think that the surgery, the hernia, slowed down Deuce McBride. Right. But like I said, I wouldn't rule out a trade by the trade deadline. Right now, the New York Knicks don't have too many trade chips. They could offer some seconds, but in terms of players, let's see. Could they trade Dardier, Kolek? They could still pull off some sign-and trades with Sohan if they want to raise some salary. Now, this man on screen, ladies and gentlemen, JV, Jonas Valanciunas, still highly productive as a backup. Can give you 8 points and 5 rebounds in 13 minutes last season. He's another big bruiser with a post game and can hit the outside shot, right? But of course, he's not a defensive big man, so I understand the drawbacks. So let us know your thoughts. It's an interesting situation because he was set to go back to Europe before the Denver Nuggets gave him that 2-year, $16 million deal or whatever it was. The second year was non-guaranteed. And now they're set to try to trade him or waive him before the deadline next Wednesday. Right. Now, Leon Rose was Valanciunas' agent throughout his prime, negotiated some major contracts, the $50 million contract with the Memphis Grizzlies. Leon Rose helped negotiate that deal for Jonas Valanciunas. That's why you hear Ian Begley, James Edwards, a lot of conversations and reports that there could be a linking up. But there's also reports that Valanciunas is done with the NBA and he's ready to go back home. So which one am I inclined to believe? I think both can be true. I think the relationships count. I think if Valanciunas and Leon Rose have, that close relationship, Leon could say, hey, do us a favor and come over for 1 year and then we'll let you go back home. Or Valanciunas could just say, look, I'm done with this situation and I'm going to go back home to Lithuania. He's definitely lost a step, but his experience scoring wise, like I said, we ain't have an offensive backup center with his skill set, and I do think this is we're in the plan B, plan C territory right now, because as I pull this up, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to everyone rocking with us. Happy 4th, and I hope you're having a great weekend. Knicks are having an A off-season so far, in my opinion, because we're handling our business, bringing back Diawara, Alvarado, and Landry Shamet was pivotal to bringing back the continuity, the closeness, the togetherness of the NBA champions, right? Continuity. You got the East going crazy right now. The East is crashing out. Meanwhile, the New York Knicks are handling their business. So I think that is key. But as reported by Mark Stein and Jake Fisher tonight, before signing veteran big Andre, the Knicks monitored Moussa Diabate as a potential replacement for Mitch. So we have the Chris Haynes report that the Knicks talked to the Pelicans. No bueno, right? Pelicans, I don't know what they're thinking right now. I don't know what they're smoking, but they want to keep their guy. I get it. And the Knicks, like Leon Rose, he doesn't want to overpay. So then we talked to the Charlotte Hornets. Couldn't get a deal done. Like I said, I don't think we're in the position to offer Deuce McBride at this point. If the Knicks were offering Deuce McBride in a package, I think we would have got our big man already. I think we've been offering probably, Pacome Dardier, maybe Kolek, maybe Sohan sign and trade, and some picks. That's the extent to which I think that Leon Rose has been trying right now. And like I said, he's probably just thinking, let me just get Drummond. Let me just get another vet. And we kick the can down the road, fam, because the playoffs ain't starting until, what is it, April, May next season, right? We got plenty of time, ladies and gentlemen, but look at this squad. The depth is amazing. Tony says, we just signed Alvarado. We ain't trading him, bro. We need a second ball handler. Yeah, absolutely. Alvarado's not getting moved right now. We just brought him back. Salute to Prezi the boss. Everyone rocking with us. Nick Streets. What about the comeback kid, Cam Reddish? Haven't heard any links. I think the Knicks have had their look at Cam Reddish. I wish him well. But yeah, I think we're stocked at the wing spot, fam. I think we got Mo Diawara. He's the future right now. And, everyone's talking about Diawara signing for that team-friendly deal. One of the reasons you get that kind of deal done is you say to the player's agent, you say, hey, you're gonna get a lot of minutes. We're gonna prioritize your development. This is where you need to be. And by all reports, that was good enough for Mo Diawara to come back. Right? Like I said, money ain't everything, and you could quickly find yourself in a tough situation right now. What do y'all think about DeMar DeRozan? Now, he's the next big name set to be bought out. There's talk that Zach LaVine could get bought out. And we've got my guy Danny in the chat talking about where do I think LeBron will end up. I think LeBron's going to end up either in Cleveland or the Golden State Warriors, fam. I don't see him going to Philly, too crowded. I don't see him going to Miami again. That Pat Riley situation, Giannis is there as well. There's just too much ball handling. So yeah, I think LeBron's going to end up in Cleveland or the Golden State Warriors. And I probably put Cleveland ahead of the pack. Bam, it just makes a lot of sense. There is that talk that LeBron wants to film a whole season documentary. If you got Steph Curry there, you got Draymond. That's going to be a lot of distraction, I think. Now it would make for must-see TV whenever that comes out. But yeah, I do think LeBron should just go back to Cleveland, fam. They need him, I think. I think they need LeBron late game situation more than anything, man. We saw Cleveland for the past 2 seasons, fam. When it's money time, they wet the bed. When you're talking about James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, jacking threes, playing unserious. Danny and Building Blocks says, let's get DeMar DeRozan, fam. We can have a good conversation about the East right now. Because what if DeMar goes back to the Six, ladies and gentlemen? We've got Kyle Lowry signing a 1-day deal with the Raptors so that he can retire a Toronto Raptor. Arguably the greatest Raptor of all time, as they say, or the second greatest Raptor of all time, DeMar DeRozan. What if he ends up signing with the Toronto Raptors, fam, to play alongside Kawhi Leonard? Does that make the Raptors the biggest threat? You guys let me know. You guys let me know. Um, in my opinion, it definitely makes them top three, top four. I think if LeBron goes to Cleveland, I think that puts Cleveland right up there as well. I think Detroit's going to take a small slide. Indiana, got to wait to see what Tyrese looks like. And of course, the Boston Celtics, I think, have taken a step back. I mean, Paul George, swapping him for Jaylen Brown, that's a huge step back, in my opinion. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we got Knicks basketball coming up next weekend. Brand new report, breaking news right now, is that Jack Kayil is expected to be added to the Summer League squad. Now, there was a lot of surprise when Jack Cahill was left off the Summer League squad, but there's been some reports out of Germany explain the situation, which makes sense, you know. When I saw it, I thought he's either injured or there's some kind of contract situation going down. Now, I'll tell you why it's complicated, because Jack Cahill obviously is set to get stashed, so he ain't signed a contract with the New York Knicks yet. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong in terms of injuries, insurance, and all of that. But Jack Cahill has not got the letter of clearance yet from his European club. So that's why he couldn't get added to the Summer League squad yet. But his agent and a reporter's come out of Germany saying that is going to get sorted out in the coming days. So next weekend, fam, we could be seeing Mo Diawara, Pacome Dardier, Tyler Nickel, and Jack Cahill. Next Friday, we kick Summer League off against the Brooklyn Nets. And then back-to-back, next Saturday, we face the San Antonio Spurs, and who might have some of their young cats as well. Tarris Reed. Maybe Harper plays Castle. Let's see how that plays out, man. That would be awesome to see Diawara and Cahill and the likes go up against those guys. Fam. We've got a minimum of 5 Summer League games to play out. Yeah, it was interesting to see that LeBron was going to come if the Knicks didn't win the chip. But that kind of wasn't a surprise because LeBron wants to be the savior, you know. He eats that up. You know, he eats that up. Speaking of that, man, Drummond is already at home as a New York Knick, right? Had some back and forth with Victor Wembanyama. Wemby good for the flop in this situation. And Drummond going to use his physicality and size as a New York Knick. Like I said, I'm not too high, not too low on the pickup. Obviously, we could have done better. But Leon Rose, you know, I'm comfortable knowing that Leon tried to get some better options. He tried to trade, and we've got time. You know, we've got the deadline. We've got the rest of the summer as well. Who knows what plays out? You know, one thing I trust is Brock Aller, Leon Rose in terms of working the cap, because don't forget what the Knicks did in that cat situation. They did sign and trades. Congrats, champ. Appreciate it. Let's go. We're all champs. World champions, man. We're hungry for more success. Let's go, man. Hopefully, we're staring at a dynasty with this situation. I think some of these moves have been so key, right? So key. Now, Andre Drummond said his farewells to Philadelphia. Not going to stew on that. But what he does say to the New York Knicks fans, I know what this city expects. I'm ready to embrace. I'm coming in with gratitude, hunger, and a mindset to work let's make this chapter special. So, look, Drummond's been wanting to play for the New York Knicks for a long time. He had offers from LA, from some other teams as well, right? And he's another player comfortable with the situation. Now, what do we usually say about a new player coming to New York? It's different, right? Some players can't handle that pressure. Some players don't know what to expect. Some players shrink. Look at Yabusele. Yabusele had a great season with Philadelphia. He couldn't handle it. Andre Drummond grew up a Knicks fan, just like Karl Anthony Towns, just like Jose Alvarado. So, who knows? Maybe he could turn back the clock a little as well. He's only 32. He's going to be more healthy than Mitchell Robinson, knock on wood. If you're just staring at the last few years, Drummond can play more minutes. He can play back-to-backs as well. Is it a downgrade defensively? Yes. But it's an upgrade offensively, in my opinion. And I think one thing that needs to be stated is, you see Maxey here. Look how fast Philadelphia play. That ain't Andre Drummond's style, right? I think Andre Drummond in the slow half court set with Brunson working the half court, the shooters that the New York Knicks have, the screen setting that Andre Drummond provides with the offensive rebounding, I think it's a much better fit with the New York Knicks than the Philadelphia 76ers. And yeah, like I said, vet experience. You could keep him out on the floor late in a playoff or finals game because he can shoot free throws. He could also shoot threes too. So who knows what we do next? As much as I would be okay with the Valanciunas pickup, I would like us to get a young big man. So let's see. Can we pull off a trade with Charlotte? Could we get a Goga Bitadze? Right, could he shake loose for salary and some second-round picks? Do we need to bring back our guy, JC, already, man? NBA Cup's finest. Jordan Clarkson, what a season he had. Once a champ, always a champ. Jordan Clarkson, I think, loved his season as a New York Knick. I think he wants to come back. Yep. I think he wants to come back, and I think it will get done. Right? I think it will get done, fam, and I do think Clarkson's going to come back. I think it would be a great move. Now, if DeMar DeRozan wants to come, then you obviously got to go him over JC. Ricardo says, all we need Drummond to do is catch lobs and rebound. Yeah, just eat space, set huge screens, understand the situation. Right, we've got Mark Bryant, we've got great big coaches as well. Kuminga. Prezi the boss says, should we sign Trey Jemison the third? Why would any of these teams trade with us? They're not going to help us. And what do we have that they need? Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we're able to get our top targets. But that's okay. Sometimes you can't hit that home run every time, man. You just got to hit singles, fam. I think that's the best analogy right now, man. We're playing baseball and we're hitting singles. Just get us to the trade deadline, Look at how murky our point guard situation was this time last year. We didn't know if Landry Shamet was staying. We didn't know if Malcolm Brogdon was going to stay or retire. We didn't know if Garrison Matthews was going to be the next Ray Allen with the New York Knicks, right? All things were on the table. And what ended up happening, man? We ended up NBA champions. So everybody just have faith. Everybody just be patient and let this situation ride out. Right? Sometimes you just got to ride the wave and let it fix itself and sort itself out. And like I said, things are going to happen by the trade deadline. We're going to have some pieces to offer, you know. The Deuce situation is something I'm looking at closely right now, because if the Knicks want to avoid the second apron, we're not going to be able to sign Deuce McBride unless Karl Anthony Towns signs a discount extension, or Josh Hart can agree to a discounted extension as well. We all know that, Jalen Brunson, man, if not the greatest Knick of all time, one of the greatest Knicks, is going to get paid, right? He's going to be on a 60, 70, $80 million deal at some point coming up. So that's why it was so smart to get these bench pieces, fam, locked up. Jose, 3 years, 4.5. Diawara on a Deuce McBride deal. I still think the club is giving Pacome Dardier a chance, because if he can pop, if he can become a rotation player, that's cost control for 3 seasons. Now, if they were to give him the qualifying offer, that's cost control for 3 more seasons. So one thing you don't want to do if you're trying to avoid the second apron is give up on cheap talent. But at the same time, there ain't enough minutes for everybody, right? You got Clarkson on vet minimums. He might be happy to just play a bit part role. But Deuce McBride, his minutes might be cut with Diawara and Alvarado and Landry coming back. So there is some questions to be asked, ladies and gentlemen. The starting 5 is what it is, all in their prime. I think the play is to just try to get the best vet minimums we can get. Whether it be LeBron, not likely. Whether it be a DeMar DeRozan, somebody like that. Another buyout guy. Right? Because look, we're all in. Right? We're all in right now. We've got some young players. But we want to try to win another chip before the NBA completely changes, man. Because with the Spurs coming up, OKC ain't going nowhere. The East is still open. The time is now. The time is now to strike and try to get some back-to-backs. Yeah, I saw that report, John. Great comment. Stefan Bondi said, don't rule out that the Knicks might just bring in some bodies into camp and let this situation play out. Right. Yeah, I'll be watching some Summer League. We'll be live post-game next Friday, next Saturday. Lock in with us. Post-game live next weekend. Knicks basketball. The Knicks have got some young talent. They're not really bringing back any familiar faces like Moses Brown or Skapinsev on the Summer League squad, but let's see what happens with training camp. Because, yeah, like last season, training camp was, it was pivotal. With whatever happened with Garrison Matthews, Landry Shamet, Malcolm Brogdon retiring, the Knicks made some key decisions last training camp that ultimately changed the fate of this organization. Now, I find it funny that the Knicks we haven't heard nothing about Jeremy Sohan. We've heard some talk about Clarkson coming back. So, are y'all ready to give up on Jeremy Sohan? Or does he try to get a multi-year deal somewhere? I can't see the Knicks offering him more than a 1-year vets minimum. Mike Brown played him a little bit. The shot is ugly. You're not getting any offense out of Jeremy Sohan. I think he was just a value add, in case we matched up against Detroit and Cade Cunningham, in case we matched up against Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics. I think that was the main reason we picked up Sohan. But we didn't need him. Right? He wasn't needed against Philadelphia, and he wasn't needed against Cleveland. So I really don't know if we're going to bring Sohan back, right? he can't shoot it. He can't he can't really do much. He's a good wing defender, and like I said, if you're looking at those matchups, you know, helping out OG, it makes sense to bring in a guy who could switch and guard one through four, 1 through 5. But yeah, the chat saying Sohan can walk. Optimus says Sohan is gone. Mark says Sohan is out of here. Ricardo says, yeah, he can walk. Yeah, look, Diawara, I think we got to start with that conversation because, you know, our perimeter defense in terms of the bodies we can throw at teams is elite. I even think Bacome Dardier has promise as a defender at the wing spot. He needs to put on some more muscle, but he's got size. He's 6'9" now. Diawara is pushing 6'10". Landry can guard up on the perimeter. Deuce, Alvarado, the 3 starting wings. If Tyler Nickel makes the squad, there's talk that he could guard 3s and 4s as well, because he weighs 220. Does Tyler Nickel? He's a shooter with size, so that'll be interesting to see starting next weekend with Tyler Nickel and see how he adjusts to the speed and the physicality of the Summer League and the NBA game. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to see Knicks basketball. Ousmane Dieng, yeah, I think he's going back to Milwaukee. Yeah, I do think that was the same situation with Sohan. Great break glass, case of emergency kind of guy. I think he was a good locker room guy as well. Kept everybody on edge. Gave us a little bit of that edge. Was talking trash like Alvarado was. That was important, man, because teams try to punk us during the regular season. Look at Detroit, who got broken up with Beef Stew out of there. Jalen Duren might be out of there. I think Boston got weaker as well. I think the teams that could get better are Cleveland and the Raptors, but I'm still not sweating them because you can't count on the health of Kawhi. And I do think the Raptors are still weak at the big man spot. You know, you got Jakob Poeltl there. I mean, Cat's going to dominate that matchup always and forever. Right, so look, we're still kings of the East. We're the reigning champs. And, you know, we're the best matchup across the board with Cat at the 5, OG at the 4, Brunson at the 1. Right now, and look, our bench is coming back as one of the best in the league. Right, expect Diawara to take a huge step because yeah, he took his rookie lumps, showed some great development and promise, shot the 3 well, put the ball on the deck a little bit, made some playmaking abilities, eye-opening playmaking abilities, and I think Diawara is going to come in stronger, more ready, more seasoned to come through. Right, so looking forward to next weekend, seeing Diawara take it to the Summer League ops. Yeah, Sohan a little nutty. You know, he didn't get dubbed the baby Rodman for no reason, as you know he joined San Antonio early in his career. I think it's cool having a couple of those guys, as long as you've got a really strong locker room. You've got seasoned heads like Brunson and Cat that don't take no nonsense. I think it's okay to have a couple of those dudes, you know. Remember, every time John Starks would crash out, we'd have Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley to keep him in check as well. So I wouldn't be mad if Sohan came back, but I just think it might be a waste of the roster spot because, you know, it might be a little redundant out here. You got Clarkson probably going to come back. You could probably squeeze Tyler Nickel on the squad at some point during the season. I expect Tyler Nickel to maybe start on the 2A, but like they did with Huck Porty, once the cap number goes down, you could add him to the squad later, especially if there's a trade. Um, but yeah, knowing Cat could be in foul trouble, Andre Drummond ain't the youngest guy. I do think it's important that the Knicks add a third big, right? Could be Trey Jemison, could be Kevon Looney, could be Valanciunas. They could pull off the trade. Uh, could be a camp battle. Whatever it is, I think the Knicks are going to add a third big, and I think that's the play right now. And look, if you want more scoring or other positions, you could always trade Dardier to free up that spot, and add whatever you want to add. Dardier's earning more than the minimum. I think that's a telling situation because Dardier is making 2.9. His cap hit, the vet's minimum cap hit is only 2.45. So if you were to trade Dardier, you could replace that with a seasoned vet, and you could have a little bit extra to squeeze Tyler Nickel on the squad, and you could get to 15 players. You could get to 15 players, man, right away. What are you guys thinking right now, man? But yeah, I like our bench. Whole season of Alvarado. Right. Last season, we picked up Alvarado at the deadline. What a pickup that was. He torched Philly. He torched San Antonio in the NBA Finals. He's got finals experience now. I think he's going to be big time. His future is secure right now. Same as Landry. These guys ain't nervous about their spot right now. They're solidified. AP salute. The streets are buzzing. Soul Train says Nick Richards is available. He's a big body as well. Yeah, not gonna lie, I would have preferred Nick Richards over Kevon Looney. Give me the younger guy all day, every day. In terms of game, there ain't much to compare between the two. But I think Nick Richards has got extra length, more defensive capability. I wouldn't be mad at that. Yeah, let's see what Leon does. Optimus says Dardier has to go. Drew Eubanks is one to watch. We know the Knicks are interested in Goga Bitadze. The Knicks got cash considerations. Our old friend. Who doesn't like cash considerations? Who doesn't like second-round picks? The reason I don't think the Knicks have made that trade yet is I don't think they've offered Deuce McBride. He's a guy you probably save for the trade deadline, I think, right now. And I think that's why Leon Rose pivoted to get Andre Drummond. Just so that we're not operating from a point of weakness. Because before Drummond, New Orleans and Charlotte, they're not helping us out. They know we're desperate. Now that we've got Drummond, we're not as desperate. So I think Leon Rose does his best work at the trade deadline. Let's see how that plays out. Maybe you sign Clarkson. Maybe he could be a hot commodity at the trade deadline as well. I just think generally down the line, there's more options available. Like teams like Charlotte Pelicans, they're puffing their chest out right now. It's the offseason. They think they're moving in the right direction. They're not willing to help you out. When it gets to the trade deadline, the tables can turn because other teams become desperate. Let's say a point guard goes down. Deuce McBride's value goes up. Let's see another team loses some bench scoring. Jordan Clarkson's value goes up as well. Let's say a team just looks like they're going to tank, and then suddenly 4 second-round picks looks a lot more appealing for some of these teams going down south. Super chat from Jason Benjamin. Got the streets buzzing. Jason, salute. Appreciate the contribution. Says people forgot that Drummond has played the hub at various points in his career. Great rebounder, but may need to lose some weight. And also for the price. Definitely. And yeah, the hometown motivation. We haven't talked about our homegrown guy, Huck. But if you're just looking at experience, it's an upgrade over Huck, right? He can play make better, more comfortable handling the ball, like you said, as a hub. And also, he can pop the three ball. When have the Knicks had a backup center that can shoot the three, right? We're going to go all the way back to Luke Cornett, right? Luke Cornett. I think since the Knicks last had a backup that could shoot. And so, also, let's not forget the cap hit, right? Andre Drummond's cap hit is only 2.4. Ariel Hukporty's cap hit is 3.4 now. So I see a lot of talk about Philly and the Knicks. They're just trading backup bigs. It's all about finances right now as well, ladies and gentlemen. Right. I know it's the NBA, but it's also, a financial situation too, with these teams just having to make the dollars make sense right now. But look, I wish Huck well. Look, I'm not mad at Mitch or Huck. They helped us climb the mountain. I think that we move into another chapter right now. I think as much as I think the Knicks have a great chance to repeat and make this a whole dynasty, our first championship, and we broke the drought after 53 years, I think we kind of have turned a new chapter right now because I don't think everyone's coming back. And I think we just got to look forward right now. And I think we've done the best that we can with Dolan's decision, right? Look, if it was me owning this team and I was a billionaire, I would have gone into the second apron. And brought these guys back. But I think that aside, I think Leon Rose has done the best that he can right now, outside of maybe pulling off one of those trades for Eves Missy or Corkbrenner. That would have been a home run. If Leon had got Eves Missy by trade, brought back Diawara, Landry, and Jose Alvarado, man, let the party begin. We'd be celebrating just as much as when we won the title. But yeah, it's a tough league. Things change. After the Nuggets won the title, they just crashed out. When Boston Celtics won the title, they couldn't sustain. The Heat made the NBA Finals. They couldn't sustain. I think we've got the best chance. Out of the last 8 years, the New York Knicks have the best chance to repeat out of the last 8 years because our team is in its prime, right? The starting five ain't changing. We're just talking about the bench right now, right? We're just talking about tweaks. As much as Mitchell Robinson is a starter in terms of quality, we haven't really been talking about Mitch starting for 3 seasons now, right? He hasn't been able to stay healthy. So you treat Mitch as a backup right now, and the Celtics played starting money for a backup. We played backup money for a backup right now. And the way Cat was moving in the playoffs, that could have just sealed the deal. Cat's defense went up a couple of levels. The mechanics is why not Sohan again? I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad. Let's see what happens with Dardier, because we could swap Dardier for Sohan and still add another big. But I think the organization is high on Dardier for the main reason is that there's upside, Again, people look at Dardier right now and they're like, he's trash, we don't need him, and all of that. But you got to think of a player like he's an asset, right? His game could be ascending, and he's under cost control for 3 more seasons. So you got to think of it that way. If you're trying to skirt the second apron and you've got to pay Brunson, you've got to pay Cat, you've got to give Josh Hart an extension. OG's going to want an extension in another year or two. If Dardier becomes a rotation player, that's under cost control for 3 more seasons. So I'm not going to cry if they trade Dardier, but he's a kind of guy that you be patient with, right? That he can sit in the corner, he can just develop. We don't need him, but he can also be a player who develops and ascends to becoming a rotation guy. And maybe in another year or two, he could slide into Deuce McBride's slot. Because one thing I don't want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to keep scrounging for a vets minimum guy every offseason. Right? This year we might be lucky and Clarkson comes back. We got Drummond on a vets minimum, and we might get someone else on a vets minimum. But every year there's going to be turnover. And that's tricky. That's tricky because I like continuity. Jason Benjamin with another super chat says, I'd rather re-sign Trey and keep Deuce till the deadline. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. I think you need another big. Jemison's young, he's physical, he's athletic, little undersized, doesn't give you any offense. But yeah, good guy to play in that role as a third big. He could be the next man up over Huck Porty. I like some of the minutes he gave us. Now, I've seen some conflicting reports. Is Trey eligible for another two-way deal? He's getting old, so I don't know how many years of service, whether or not he's eligible for another two-way. If he is, it's a no-brainer. That's why I've got him there in the graphic next to Kevin McCullough as well, who is a name to look out for too. Not on the Summer League squad. That was a surprise, but kind of it was and it wasn't, because he's 26 now. He played 5 years college, 2 years in the pros. He doesn't really need to be playing Summer League at this point, but let's see what McCullough does. I think we can bring McCullough back on a two-way. Maybe we give him a chance and we keep Tyler Nickel on a two-way. But Tyler Nickel will be cheaper on that situation. Another super chat from AP got us buzzing. Great to see you, my friend. How do you feel about Philly? Philly is messy. That's the word that comes to my mind. It's a lot of turnover. It's no continuity. But in talent, they got better, Paul George out of the door now. You've got Jaylen Brown, who's going to be hungry. But we all know Embiid can't stay healthy. When the big moment hits and the playoffs hit, Cat will eat his lunch, is too mobile. Andre Drummond could offer some intel as well now. Right, as we look at the NBA Cup groups, the Knicks will start off trying to go back-to-back NBA Cup champs, falling into East Group B with Cleveland, Philadelphia, Miami Heat, and the Indiana Pacemakers. I first thought, man, that's stacked. But you look at every group now, the East is stacked. Right, the Knicks broke the league. Everyone looking to shake it up. Now, everyone thinks that it's wide open, but I do think Detroit have got worse. Toronto have got better. Orlando can't take seriously right now until they get more shooting. I think Jalen Suggs might be a name that they try to move. The Bucks obviously got worse. Brooklyn. East Group C, I think the Hawks are going to take a step up. But Chicago, Washington, Charlotte, obviously, they're out of the mix in contention. And we've got the Celtics, who I think have got worse right now, losing Jaylen Brown. So, yeah, I think it's the New York Knicks as the favorites to come back and get out of the East again. Building blocks as CT. Boston just actually paid Cater more than Mitch. Yeah, they've invested a lot. They've invested a lot of money in that situation. But they had to pay Mitch. They had to pay Mitch. And I think the offseason is going to help the Knicks in terms of the offense and expanding Mike Brown's system, right? I think we've got the weight off our shoulders now. The shackles are off. The 53-year drought is over. So I think the players, they're going to feel a lot more fresh, a lot more free to play their style, and we just got to get through the regular season. I think we're shown that when it gets to the playoffs, the Knicks are playoff risers now, putting together the greatest run in NBA history, going 15-1 in their last 16 postseason games, man. Mike Brown deserves a ton of flowers for that. I can't wait to see what he can produce with some different pieces, some shooting at the backup five. The continuity of Alvarado coming back for a full season and all of that. So I'm hyped. Right, I'm hyped. Right. This is what it felt like in the 90s, where you knew the Knicks were contenders every year. You could lock in, and you knew that the playoffs, the Knicks would be there. Right. But my favorite thing about this team is they've got two-way players, right? They play defense on the perimeter, right? That's the biggest difference, in my opinion, in today's NBA. Teams want to shoot threes. We've got the shooting. We've got shooters. We can play 5 out. But not every team has players that can defend on the perimeter. We've got so many, right? That's why bringing back Alvarado, Shamet, Diawara was pivotal. Deuce McBride's still here. We've got the starting 5 that can play D as well, because the regular season's a grind, right? And let's say we get off to a slow start or some team starts hot, man. Don't overreact. Let's look at the last 2 seasons, man. Remember when Cleveland looks untouchable? Last 2 seasons in the regular season, man. They crashed out. They gassed out. Last season, Detroit looked untouchable. When it got to the playoffs, man, they were shook. They couldn't handle the bright lights, right? The regular season it's child's play, right? It ain't the real deal, right? When the playoffs hit, the adults come to play. The men get separated from the boys right now. That's why experience matters, right? That's why the whole college experience, the Villanova situations, tough games on the road, backs to the wall. When the New York Knicks are in a tough game, they could be down 20. It doesn't matter, because these guys won't fold. They've been there. They've been in that situation 1,000 times and some. 1,000 times and some. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we got my guy, co-host backstage. Let's bring him in and hear his thoughts on this off-season so far. Because, ladies and gentlemen, EJ is here. How you feeling, brother?
Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? I am here for like 2 seconds. What's going on, my guy CT? I'm literally on vacation, and I just had to say what's up to everybody. I'm feeling great, my friend. How you doing, man?
Yeah, feeling good, man. Summer vibes. Happy 4th. Uh, Knicks, we're talking about backup bigs, just like back in the day. You know, we're we're talking about how this guy for 12 minutes can change the game.
Yeah. It's crazy because like right now I'm on backup vibes right now. So, but just wanted to wish everybody a happy 4th. My guy CT, wishing you the absolute best. Um, it's going to be interesting to see like what other moves they make aside from Andre Drummond. But this is exciting times, guys. Do not forget. Do not forget. Do not forget. We won the chip. That's all I need to remind everyone of.
How's the
Love
merch
it.
situation? Mine's coming through.
Finally came out. Mine is coming up right now.
Yeah.
Finally coming in. So took some time, but there's some more merch I have coming along the way. But it's a great, exciting time. I I actually can't stay that long. I have to literally go right
Yep,
now.
got
But
you.
my boy CT wanted to send you guys some love. Send some love to all the Knicks buzzers. You guys will see me soon. Take care, everyone. All right.
Yo, EJ, peace. Stay blessed. Let's go,
Take care.
Knicks. Repeat. We're hype. EJ on vacation, ladies and gentlemen. Had to come through because the streets are always buzzing, ladies and gentlemen. EJ, appreciate him coming through. Everyone in the building, stay blessed. Um, Davey says we need another center. Clarkson, I'm indifferent if we get him or not. Yeah, I feel the same way. We got to get another big, even if it's Trey Jemison. Um, if we do keep Sohan, I probably still want another big because he's an emergency big, an undersized big. Maybe he, um, as I bring up, the other graphic. Apologies, the other one was the old graphic. Yeah, if we do trade Dardier, maybe Sohan could take that spot, and we free up some more money for a Tyler Nickel. He could be a sniper coming out. Um, he's got extended college experience, so he might be more ready for shooting, right? He could make Deuce McBride more expendable. Diawara could come in flame throwing and might make Deuce McBride more expendable. Um, but yeah, the whole selling point and towards Clarkson is he's just got to be a guy that stays ready. He can't fuss, he can't fight over lack of minutes. If Clarkson comes back, he should know the drill, right? Stay ready. If your number's called, if there's an injury, you're next man up. But right now the bench is crowded because Diawara, he didn't take no discount to take a back seat to a 34-year-old. Diawara has to be a mainstay now in the rotation. He has to be featured each and every game off the bench now with the size. Um, I'm not talking about G League or Westchester as well, right? He doesn't need to be playing at Westchester. He's needed for bench minutes, 15 minutes off the bench. Um, but yeah, what a great story it was bringing back Landry Shamet, because talk about a guy who made a name for himself in the playoffs and finals, right? He was on the hottest shooting streak in NBA history. He could not miss. Of course, he came back down to earth a little bit, but he still was amazing value for the vets minimum. Next comment, AP says, I just read Patrick is going to the Washington Wizards coaching staff. Did anyone else hear that? Why would he want to go there? Yes, appreciate you. On the money as well, buzzing. That was a report tonight. Ian Begley, not as surprised as maybe some. Patrick has obviously been in the ambassador role for a couple of seasons now. Got to ride and die with the team, followed the team on the road, got to live out the dream and be in that parade. He's going to be there banner night to get his ring. I think the organization is going to bless Patrick with a ring, so they should. But I think Patrick Ewing obviously needs to get on with his career, and he wants to continue coaching. Everyone got aspirations. Everyone got dreams to fulfill. So I think Patrick Ewing got strong ties to the area. Obviously Washington. I think Patrick's always been a little salty that he hasn't been given an NBA head coaching position. I wish him all the best. He's lived the dream. It would be great to keep Patrick around, but yeah, like I said, he's still not that old, so he might just want to not just want to be an official mascot forever. LB says trade Pacome, being up somebody from Westchester. Yeah, that could happen. I think Pacome's 2.9 million is something to look out at. But when we talk about getting old, we talk about competing right now. I still would like to keep some young pieces, right? I still want to keep some young pieces. They're stashing Jack Kayil, although reports tonight that he's still going to come to Summer League. Is Jack Kayil. He's just working through some clearances from his European team. It looks like he'll be there in Summer League. We wait official confirmation, but there was a report that's come out, fam. So, yeah, you got to build. You got to keep developing still. A lot of old heads on the squad in terms of Clarkson, Drummond. Would be nice to keep a young athletic wing with some upside. Let's see how training camp plays out. I think we'll bring back Clarkson, and I think we'll be targeting that third big, whether it be Nick Richards, another trade. I do think we'll fill that third big. But also signing someone who could have trade value is key, right? We've talked about Sohan tonight, guys. We might keep Sohan as a sign and trade option later. You know, you bring back Sohan, he could be appealing for some team when you're trying to attach second round picks to get another big, right? Because reports that Pacome Dardier and second round picks, that's not too appealing for some teams, right? If we want to trade Deuce, he will be appealing to some teams when it comes to the trade deadline. Let's go, Glenn Jones. Salute. Great to see you. Blessings. Come back from Cali just now. Hope it was great. We signed Drummond while I was there, like I said. Yep, hear about that. Yeah, experience, you know. He wants to play for his hometown. So let's see what Drummond has left. But yeah, he brings a different skill set. Still brings that elite rebounding. Can bring some hub, some playmaking and passing. I think the Valanciunas move would be solid. Like I said, we'll take a step back defensively, but talk about if Cat. Think of all the minutes Cat's in foul trouble or Cat is, on the bench. To have another center that could put up double digits, could pick and roll with JB, pick and pops, could still rebound. I think Valanciunas would be solid as a vet. The Dr. Scotty Scott is in the building. Salute. Says, super excited to see what Chef Leon is cooking up. Would like to see Nick Richards signed. Keep calm and everyone enjoy being the champs. Yep. Look, the one thing about being champs is, man, it's addictive, man. We want to keep winning, man. Winning is addictive, and we all want to repeat right now. But yes, we're basking in this championship glory right now. People still waiting for their merch. I got one of my first items arrive, my cap. Still waiting for the locker room champs cap. I ordered a couple of Topps limited edition cards, trading cards. My ESPN magazine showed up. What else have I got? I've got the Champions tee, not the rhinestone one, but just the normal one. That's on the way as well, and I can't wait to gloss on that during the season. Freeway Hustler says the Knicks were patient with Mitch for a decade, then he leaves first chance he gets. I don't give a F about Mitch leaving. Right? Yeah, it's a business, you know. The way I look at it is just a chapter closed now. Mitch helped us win a title, cemented his legacy, and we move. That's it. You know, these guys are doing their job, and he took the bag. That's on Dolan and Leon, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, going to Boston is shady, but there wasn't no other team. Mitch said it himself. He didn't want to go there. He kind of. The thing about Mitchie is he'll tell you the truth. He took the bag, nothing more, nothing less. You know, let's say he has one bad season or he can't stay healthy, the Celtics will look to try to trade his salary. You know, so yeah, it's a business right now. The Knicks are about to pay Cat an extension as well. It's getting expensive right now. The thing about backup bigs are they've always been cheap, you know. I would have liked us to draft a big and and try to cement a long-term cheap backup like a Taris Reed, Visar. Um, but yeah, the Knicks were trying to save as much money as possible. They weren't trying to draft a first-round pick. In the end, you could kind of say it's paid off because we've got Drummond now. We're able to keep Landry. We're able to re-sign Jose Alvarado, and we're able to re-sign Diawara. So the dollars make sense. But would have been nice if we kept that second round big. I don't know why we traded him away for cash. Maybe there was another plan. Like I said, this Eves Missy deal might get done. Leon Rose, he ain't one to give up. I think he's going to keep knocking on that door in terms of Eves Missy. But we'll see. We'll see what the Pelicans end up doing. They might just be trying to get the price up. Crazy says Billy Donovan joining the Spurs as associate head coach. Everyone trying to get better to beat us. Let's go. Well, that's it, But when push comes to shove in big games, high leverage situations, our team is still the best in the East. Right. I'm not fazed by the regular season. Right. The Knicks are going to stay in hibernation until it gets to the real deal. The thing is about identity. We know who we are. That's the thing. Right. That's probably the most important thing. Right. The coach, our game, defense and offense. We know who we are. These other teams are still trying to figure it out. But when you're trying to make all that upheaval, that doesn't scream to me continuity. That doesn't scream to me that they're confident. No, they're scrambling right now. The rest of the East is in scramble mode because they know that they ain't good enough to beat the Knicks. So what they're trying to do is to get better. Detroit fans talked all that trash for their regular season victories. What did they end up getting? They ended up losing Beef Stew, who's nothing but talk. Jalen Duren's unhappy with that situation. Right? They can't even keep their own players happy. Right? Don't know about Duncan Robinson. What's going to happen with that situation? They lost Malik Beasley. They lost their shooting earlier. Right? He's on federal indictment. You got, Dennis Schroeder who left. They missed out on him. They missed him as well. So, yeah, I'm not worried about Detroit. Not worried about Orlando. I think Philly got, probably out of all the teams, Philly got slightly better. But again, you've always got that Embiid situation, right? He might have one good game, and then he's a DNP. Look how difficult it was for the Knicks to get through 4 rounds and survive. Well, it wasn't that difficult in the end, but in terms of physicality, it was a case of the Knicks were just ending their series in sweeps just to avoid getting injuries. These other teams were having to play 7-game series, right? That was a big difference when it got to the playoffs, right? Now imagine Embiid, the older he's getting. Imagine him trying to stay healthy for four rounds. It ain't happening. So Philly might be thereabouts, but they're not winning the title. They're just not good enough. They're probably going to have to turn the keys over to Jaylen Brown. I think VJ Edgecombe and Maxey, they're not mature yet. Their game is a lot of huff and puff, 100 miles per hour, but they're not mature yet. Tyrese Maxey's not a defender. You need two-way players. The Knicks exposed Philadelphia. The Knicks tore them a new one. They ripped them to shreds in a sweep. Right. The best thing about the New York Knicks, as I say, is we can defend. Right. We might not have the prettiest, 1 through 10 in terms of star-laden talent, all stars and all of that. But we're full of two-way players, How many times did we see one player didn't have it, then the next guy picked us up? When Josh Hart struggled and made a boneheaded play, it was someone else stepping up. Right. One game it was Alvarado winning us the game. The next game it was Landry Shamet. All the while Deuce McBride wasn't playing that well. Diawara wasn't in the rotation. Kolek wasn't playing as well. Those games where Brunson didn't have it, it was Cat and OG. And it was Mikal Bridges. So what do they say, fam? There's no I in team, right? It's a team sport. The team with the most chemistry. The team with the best identity, I think, is the team to beat, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, I like our off-season so far. Yeah, it could have been better with the backup big situation. In the end, out of losing Mitch or Shamet, I'm okay keeping Shamet and losing Mitch. At the end of the day. Mitch was pivotal, made some huge plays. I'll never forget that. He was pivotal in some moments, but he's a bit part player. 13 minutes, 15 minutes, couldn't stay on the floor late in games as well due to the Hacker Mitch situation. I think it's inevitable that every championship team is going to lose a few players. The best thing that you can do is just try to replace them the best way that you can. Try to bring in some some extra experience and keep it moving. Keep the core together. That's the biggest thing. Ryan Love says Jaylen Brown doesn't scare me. Yeah, let's see how the chemistry goes because there's a lot of mouths to feed. That's the other point I was going to make. You got Buddy here, VJ Edgecombe. You got Maxey. You've got Embiid and you've got Jaylen Brown now, So, yeah, at some point, Maxey's going to say, hey, what about me? This is my team. VJ Edgecombe might be coming up saying, I want to take on that role. You've got Jaylen Brown that loves to go ISO. And you've got Embiid as well. So, yeah, that's a tricky situation, I think, for Philly. They do got the talent, but it is going to be tricky, fam. So yeah, let's bring this up now. As I promised, we got some audio, courtesy of our NBA New York account. We're going to hear from Andre Drummond, fresh off signing with the New York Knicks. Now, so let's bring this up.
I'm here. What's up, you guys? It's your girl Mika. What's up, you guys? It's your girl Mika, and I'm here with Andre Drummond. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
So, is it true that you just signed to the Knicks?
Yes, ma'am.
You did? What made that team be the right fit for you?
I think just what they need right now. Getting rid of Mitchell Robinson was a huge loss for them. I bring in a similar talent, similar energy, but I'm a veteran. I've been around for a long time. I know what it takes to win. So excited to be in a new role in a new city and going back to a place I'm familiar with.
You say you know what it takes to win. What does it take to win?
Shit, being great, sacrificing. Not knowing that every night might not be your night, and knowing that, focusing on the greater good of what we're doing this for, which is to win a championship, and that's what I'm here for.
So you think you're gonna bring them another championship?
I ain't doing it by myself, but I'm definitely excited to be a part of something bigger than me.
What motivates you?
What motivates me? Everything. I'm just a highly motivated person,
Hey, that sounds good to me. This sounds like a guy ready to buy into his backup role. Sacrifice, we heard that. We heard, ready to be a part of something bigger than me. Hey, this is good. This is good in terms of a good locker room guy. We heard from Tony Jones, who covers Philly, and we heard from James Edwards, who covered Drummond in Detroit. They said he's a phenomenal locker room guy, and he's coming home. So some upside in that regard, right? In terms of buying into his role, sacrifice. They're all the things that Mike Brown has been preaching to. But I think it was a smart decision by Drummond to obviously take the minimum and come, because he's going to get minutes, right? Cat is going to, be dominant, but he doesn't play, full games, 38 minutes. He doesn't play 35 minutes a lot. Foul trouble, is a big part of Cat's game right here. So, yeah, Drummond's going to get lots of opportunities, and I can't wait to see him splash that 3 ball. Do I think Halliburton is finished? Look, it's a tough injury to come back from. It takes time. Let's see. I know they got, Ivica Zubac. That's a new piece that we haven't really seen when they're healthy. But they lost Miles Turner. He was a defensive part of their game too. So yeah, let's see what plays out with that. Yeah, I like Corkbrenner. I like Diabate. Paul. Looks like Leon's tried to get those guys in. Christian Holoko. Yeah, we're really looking down further down the list now. The Knicks could bring in a couple of guys in training camp, let them battle it out. But yeah, I do think getting Drummond is at least a move that helps us out in terms of leverage, like less desperation. Because teams knew, man, you lose Huck Porty, you lose Mitch in the span of like 48 hours. Like it was looking tricky at that point, man. And then you had guys like Chris Haynes try to talk about putting these stories out that the Knicks were rejected by the New Orleans Pelicans. I mean, how many times do you see that a team got rejected, right? Knicks for clicks with that situation. Right. But what did Leon Rose do? The same thing with Donovan Mitchell. He wasn't about to overpay. So he's like, I'm going to kick the can down the road. I'm going to get Drummond on a minimum, and I'm going to hit the single. Right. We're not looking for home runs right now. Leon Rose is just like, I'm going to hit a single, and we'll wait our time. Right. For those that have just joined us, salute to everyone. Please smash that like button. Let us know your thoughts. We'll shout it out, right? We rewind. Let's rewind 12 months to the day. We were talking about Malcolm Brogdon. We were talking about Yabusele. We were talking about Garrison Matthews. We'll talk about, is Clarkson going to come in? Is Landry going to survive? Guess what happened, man? The things changed, right? Brogdon retired, and the rest is history, right? Garrison Matthews didn't make the squad. Landry Shamet is a New York City legend, helped us win the NBA Finals. So there's a lot of time, there's a lot of water under the bridge to still play out. Let's see what happens. Now, Leon Rose always makes a trade deadline move, whether it be Cam Reddish, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Derrick Rose, right? Jose Alvarado, anyone else that I'm missing. He always makes an in-season move, right? And I expect nothing less, right? You play out the first part of the year, you see how things look, you say, all right, let's make a move, Who's the odd man out? Is Deuce McBride, you worried about losing him to free agency? Does Pacome Dardier stay idle and doesn't show any development? You move on from him. Does Alvarado dominate and you just realize you don't need Tyler Kolek anymore and you end up trading him? Does a team come calling for Jordan Clarkson and maybe you parlay him into a big man? at the deadline. I think there's options right now. But yeah, man, Drummond was loving popping that 3 ball. Right, that kind of came out of nowhere. So he's obviously been working on that part of his game for a long time. I mean, considering Mitch couldn't hit free throws, we've got a backup center now that can hit threes. So that's a big difference in terms of that side of the game and that side of the game only. Obviously, defensively is a major downgrade or question mark. But Mitch doesn't play that many minutes. So at the end of the day, are we going to miss Mitch a whole lot? Are we going to miss that 13 minutes, 15 minutes? He doesn't play back-to-backs. I wish Mitch well. It definitely, I was hurt that day just seeing Boston. I was angry with Dolan, all of that, but now I've kind of calmed down. I've calmed down and we see. Well, first I was angry at the draft night because I was like, we knew we were probably going to lose Mitchie. We could have kept a center, but we ended up finding one as a vet minimum free agent. So let's see how it plays out. Precious has re-signed, fam. Precious was a name that we were looking at, but yeah, Precious got a nice little bag to stay in Sacktown. So good job from Precious getting paid. I think he's on the taxpayer mid-level, which is the $6 million, 2 years for 12. So Precious. I don't think Precious was a great solution to the big man spot either, though. I think he was a little undersized with Drummond. That's the thing about the rebounding. We're not really losing anything when it comes from Mitch to Drummond. We're not really losing any rebounding. That is a big part of that role, the backup situation. Prezi says, yeah, Gary Bird, not even in the league. Mark says, I'm ready to hang both banners. Yes, sir. Maybe they even give Malcolm Brogdon a ring. Just say, hey, thanks for retiring. Here you go. Right. DeMar DeRozan, yes, is a big, big name, man. There's going to be a lot of competition for DeMar. I could see him going back to the Raptors. Personally, right? What a pickup he would be for the Raptors if he goes back and retires a Raptor with Kyle Lowry. And you got now Kawhi Leonard, which I think is going under the radar. All that turmoil with the Clippers. I mean, they ended up trading all that. They traded away Shai Gilgeous, their future. Paul George is out of there. Kawhi is out of there. What an absolute disaster that was with the LA Clippers, man. What about that all-time quote from Charles Barkley? Chuck. He says, I've been fat, I've been skinny, I've been broke, I've been rich, but the LA Clippers have always sucked. Man, I think that's an all-time quote, man. Been rich, been broke, been fat, been skinny, and the LA Clippers, man, have always stunk. AP with a super chat says, at least Dre is from Mount Vernon and know what's up. Yeah, that's big. Veteran, he knows what's up. Big body, man. He's going to body Wemby. He's going to body some guys. He's going to battle. And look, he's going to be more healthy. So that's the thing. Like, he was tricky with the back-to-backs. Like, the older Mitchie gets, and we ain't just talking about next season. If you're going to pay Mitchie, you're going to have to pay him multiple years, 2, 3, 4 years, right? There's a lot of wear and tear on that body. So we got our championship. Love Mitchie to the day I die, and he'll be a Knick legend. He's always welcome back. He'll be, he'll be at MSG when he retires. But yeah, it might have been time to move on with that situation right now. Paying a backup center $15+ million is tough. That's going to be tough. But we did prioritize, and I did think it was important to keep the other bench scoring and pieces, right? Alvarado is probably up there with the biggest for me because, look, Brunson, as he heads to 30 now, you don't want to wear him out, right? The more help for Brunson, the less wear and tear, and you could keep him playing at a all-star level into his mid-30s, mid to late 30s. I think Alvarado now is a permanent backup. He's going to be able to play 20 plus, 25 plus minutes now next to Brunson and also backing up Brunson, bringing the ball up so that Brunson can play off the ball some, right? And he can channel his inner Kobe playing as a two guard some as well and be fresh for down the stretch. Prezi said Drummond doing his best Brook Lopez impression. That's a good comment because I think I'd rather Drummond than Brook Lopez right now because, I think out of the two, Brook Lopez is more washed. But at least there's the connection with Drummond and the rebounding. If we get DeRozan, that's a wrap. Like, if we were to get LeBron, even like, that would have just give us the championship at this point. But I'm fascinated to see what plays out with Jonas Valanciunas because I think he would add another layer to our offense if we were to pick him up. Reports that he's agreed to a deal in Europe if he was to shake free from his NBA contract, and reports suggest that the Nuggets are going to waive his non-guaranteed deal, or $8 million non-guaranteed. So what ends up happening, man? Does he say, I'm done with the NBA, I'm going back home to Europe? Or does Leon Rose make the call and say, hey, do us a favor and stick around for one more year, right? And ring chase. That's the lure, right? Valanciunas, I think he missed out, right? Yeah, he missed out on the ring in Toronto, right? They had Marc Gasol. I think they already traded Valanciunas then. So I think there's enough motivation for him to stick around. DeMar DeRozan looking to stick around as well and play on a contender. Glenn Jones says CT. It seems Drummond bust Mitch's ass many times while in Detroit, a Philly. Right, we do need another scorer. Yeah, the Clarkson situation is, I think, the next domino. AP, though, says, what about Tyler? What about our guy? He's shown a lot. I don't want to lose him. I agree. Tyler has a lot of promise as a scorer as well. Point guard. He's the best playmaker on the team and a scorer. I trust Tyler Kolek's three-point shot probably more than Alvarado. But obviously Alvarado brings the experience, so... But you got to keep Kolek around as the third point guard because injuries can happen. It's a grind. Deuce McBride can't really handle the ball too much. I look at Deuce as a wing scorer right now, but if Mo Diawara steps up and Landry's good, we might not need Deuce as much. I do think Deuce's future is tied to someone stepping up. Like if Diawara steps up or Kolek steps up, they're under cost control now, and you move on from Deuce McBride. You keep Clarkson maybe as an emergency on a vet's minimum. But it's definitely crowded, man. I think we could definitely move on from a guard to try to solidify another reliable big. Too. Let's not forget Tyler Nickel. Next Saturday, it goes down. Summer League. Brooklyn against Friday on Brooklyn, and then San Antonio on Saturday. We get to see what Tyler Nickel looks like as well. He could stroke it too. He's got college experience, multiple years. He's 22 now, and he's 6'7", 220. So he looks NBA ready. We talked about Jack Kayil. He looks like he's going to make it a late appearance addition to the Summer League squad, according to reports. They're just trying to tie up his clearance from the European team that owns his draft rights, or owns his European FIBA rights. So it's a FIBA mandate that he needs the letter of clearance from his hometown home club in Serbia, and then he can play for the Knicks Summer League. So we do know that he's most likely going to get stashed for the full season. We see Cam Reddish. Victor Oladipo is saying, "What about me?" Victor Oladipo says, "What about me?" Right, making a pledge online for somebody to give him a chance. I personally would have loved Mitch to go to Sacramento. That would have been great, man. Give him the bag, be a starter. That would have been nice. But yeah, it sucks to see Mitchie out east still. But look, seeing Mitchie there at the banner night, or if we play the Celtics, or whenever he comes to MSG, seeing him get his ring, man, is going to be sweet. John says Taris Reed 100% should have been in play and signed Drummond. Mitch was gone. Yeah, I think Leon Rose with the draft situation was trying to stack up those second round picks. Maybe it ends up paying off. I think maybe Leon was trying to think like, I stack up all these seconds in cash, and that'll get us Diabate, or that'll be enough to get us Yves Missy. But so far it's been difficult. I think Leon was probably looking at veterans for the big spot rather than taking one in the draft. You know, he was probably thinking, look, I trade back, I save money, and I use the second round picks that we picked up. But yeah, let's see how it plays out. I'm not too worried, to be honest. I do think we're going to get a third big, whether it be now or the deadline, and it's going to be someone probably better than Drummond, and that Drummond will be the third option. But we've got some trade picks and draft picks, trade assets, you know. So I do think push comes to shove, if they are going to lose Deuce McBride in free agency, he might be the guy that ends up helping us bring in a big too. But yeah, I was thinking about Sohan. Do you just bring him back as an emergency? Maybe Diawara could play some small ball 5. Let's see how he does in his second season. I do think he's got to put on some more muscle and some conditioning, but yeah, he's got the height, the standing reach. He can move laterally. He just can't really bang down low. That's the thing that Drummond can provide, fam. It ain't just about the height. You got to be able to bang down low. You know, that's what Drummond can do. Right. He can put people on the deck as well with screens and boxing out. That's one thing Drummond, man, will never be bad at. He's bad at some things, but he'll never be bad at rebounding. You know, he's got good positioning, he's got the experience, but he can shoot it now. So that's fascinating to see how that's going to play out in the offense. Right. Think of the backup units. We now have a 5-out backup unit. Right. Mitchie gave better defense, no doubt about it. But we never had a 5-out backup unit with Mitch out there. And the hacker Mitch was always an option. Drummond did hurt us in that game. I know he didn't do that much else because Philly just couldn't hang. But he had some big games, some big moments with the rebounds and the 3-ball, right? That's the thing in that situation there. Cat can't stay in the paint. You know, whoever's guarding Drummond on the opposing team, they're going to have to close out. They're going to have to come out now, and the lane is going to be open for Jalen Brunson or Jose Alvarado to get into the paint. And Drummond shows here that he can still recover and get his hand on some blocks as well. So, look, for the cheap signing, it is what it is. I'm not going to get too high or too low as a backup signing. But yeah, I would love us to get an athletic big man as well. Yves Missy would have been a home run. But yeah, Leon tried. And the other team was trying to take the Mickey. Right. But let's see. I don't think Leon was willing to put Deuce McBride in a deal. Otherwise, we would have got a deal done. He's probably trying Kolek or Dardier or someone else. Sohan sign and trade. But let's see. We might get Valanciunas. We might get another scorer like Clarkson or DeMar DeRozan. But yeah, so far so good this off-season, guys. Summer League next weekend. I cannot wait. Peace to everyone out here. Happy 4th again. And let's go. Champs, stay blessed. They're coming for us, but we're at the top of the mountain right now. And everyone's scrambling to try to catch up. Let's see, man. The Vegas odds. We'll do our previews and all of that when it gets closer to training camp. But right now, man, I hope everyone's just relaxed, sit back, enjoy. And it feels good to be champs, ain't it? And right now, man, the streets are still buzzing. World champs, can't wait for the banner night. And it's going to be special right there, man. It's going to be electric. The atmosphere in that building opening night when the Knicks raise that banner. Maybe they raise 3 banners. We'll talk about that in the next one. NBA Cup, Eastern Conference champs as well, man. Let's get it on the next one as we wrap this one up tonight. Man, off-season so far. Putting the Drummond move aside, losing Mitch, I think it was key. Keeping Alvarado, Shamet, Diawara. With still enough money to bring Clarkson back as well. Yeah. The big situation is, the biggest question mark. No doubt about it, but we've got time. That's the thing, man. We have lots of time to solidify that spot. Right? Knicks versus Celtics. Yes, I see you. I see you. That's going to be big time as well. Mitch won't be starting that game as well. He'll be off the bench. I think Kayil is going to be the one starting for Philadelphia. But look, who out east is really worrying me? The big man spot. Like, you know, B. Stu got traded. MB can't stay healthy. The Raptors don't have a good big. What else am I missing? You know, Kayil, okay. Celtics, you know, but he can't hang with Cat. That's the thing, guys. Backup be damned. We've still got the best big man, I think. Starting big man in the East. It goes through the big bodega, the Thundercat, Cat Panther, Karl Anthony Towns, man. He's solidified now. So it goes through the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, man. Now that we've ironed out this souped up offense with Cat as a playmaker and Brunson deferring, Brunson playing the 2 guard, think about a whole training camp and the wrinkles that we can add to this, you know, this offense now that egos have been pushed aside. You know, there's not going to be no You know, there's not going to be no friction between Mike Brown and Cat like it was last summer. You know, they figured that all out. They figured that out like grown men. And I think Karl Anthony Towns now, Mike Brown believes in Cat as the playmaker, going to expand his role. And Cat's going to be happy about that too. So more 5-out looks, more spacing. Cat playing at a better defensive level now as well, being trusted as a champ. The confidence is high. So let's go, everyone. Peace. See you on the next one.